mohawk tail is getting very long.
I know, someone told me that the other day. I was like, I wouldn't know. I'm on this side of it.
We see it more than you do.
Was that funny?
This side of it.
Well, I think we just started Guitar Friends episode, what is this, 45?
45. 47?
We're going to have to turn up the mics to pick up that little one up there.
Yeah. Wait, are the cameras rolling?
Yeah,
the
cameras recording? They're all rolling.
Are you sure
everything's
both of
going,
them?
guys.
And
we got it. Is this 45?
Yeah.
45.
45.
You know, I was a fan of a 45. Anyway, Guitar Friends episode 45. Let's do it. The Telecaster episode.
Telecasters.
Hello, but first, intro.
Guitar Friends is on. Maybe you're in your car or mowing your lawn. Just turn it up. The Guitar Friends are on. The greatest podcast about guitars on. As long as you don't count all the ones that have big guests and are very intentional about actually having guitar-related conversations. Guitar Friends is on. This is Guitar Friends. With HW, Sooze and Jon too. It's mostly about guitar, but also some other stuff will be discussed too. But it's most about guitar, unless we get distracted and talk about food or Teslas, or how annoying it is that Californians keep moving everywhere and bring their terrible ideas and ruin their state to Nashville. But looks with guitar.
Guitar Friends is on.
Woo! Okay, here we go. Episode 45. The Telecaster episode. We're all holding our favorite Teles. Isn't this...
Is that your favorite Tele or your only Tele? Or is it your only one because you don't
Chicken
need
or the egg?
one?
It's the only Tele I own, but there's a reason for that.
Okay.
And I've loved it for many years.
It is very good.
That's one of the more lauded guitars on this channel
For
in
sure.
the history of the channel.
The more what?
Lauded?
I'm learning something new. What does that mean?
It's
like
like
celebrated or like
Yeah.
applauded maybe.
Applauded?
No, as soon as I said it, I was like, I'm not sure rhyming is the right
That's
move
fine. I
here.
like it.
Yeah.
Lauded, applauded. What's the difference?
It reminds me of Christmas for some reason. Like, is that in a Christmas, like a Christmas carol?
Yeah, you use this.
Lauded.
Oh, I thought you. Well,
This meant the guitar.
Yeah,
did.
this was used in the infamous Sooze in front of a fireplace video.
Was it? Oh,
Really?
maybe multiples.
Yeah, there were multiple guitars in that video.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That was that was one of the highlights.
It was later re-released as I think a 2-hour version.
like on a loop.
Yeah, just looped it.
I think I tried to listen. I put it on, and then after like maybe 4 minutes, my wife was like, "I love Sooze, but like, are we gonna listen to this for this long?"
That's longer than I listened to it.
Sorry, Sooze.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're talking about Telecasters today, our favorite Telecasters. But before we get there, can I just say something about AGI that I never hear anyone talk about?
What's
Sure.
AGI?
Like artificial general intelligence. So like the idea that that AI is going to become this thing that's just intelligent about everything. It knows everything. You know.
Okay. Different
sort
than
of-
AI. I mean, is it
Yeah.
Well,
technically different?
AI is just some type of intelligence that we build in that can do something, but the intelligence is very limited. You know, AI can be like facial recognition software.
Yeah.
And it can just recognize faces. But if you ask it like, can you tell me about the annexation of Puerto Rico? It'll be like, no, but I could find your face in a crowd.
in Puerto Rico.
With
Maybe.
AGI is like the same way that we are born dumb and learn things, and that's how we gain knowledge.
Like English or like
like the whole the thing about AGI is that it would be capable of learning and retaining that new learned skill for its life.
It's growing and developing.
Developing. Yeah.
So anyway, I'm sitting here listening to a podcast with Peter Thiel, and we're kind of talking about this different stuff and what it is. And I had this thought where it's like, I think we all have this expectation that I don't think will play out, which is somehow we're going to get to this point of intelligence and we're going to be able to ask it questions, like ask it all sorts. Like we're going to boot this thing up one day. We're going to get to it. Then we're going to boot it up. We're going to give it about 15 minutes to figure out everything we've ever wanted to know. And then we're going to just ask it questions. And I noticed the assumption everyone is under is that it's going to answer us back. And I think this is something where I go, wait a minute. I think we're overstating our own intelligence. And I'll put it like this. Imagine that all of a sudden you're walking down a street and all of a sudden you hear, sir, hello, can you hear me? And you like turn and you don't know where the voice is coming from. And then you go, who is it? And where's this voice coming from? And all of a sudden it goes, listen, we are a colony of very intelligent ants. And we've been working under your nose for all this time to develop a technology to amplify a voice that you can understand. You know, clap if you can hear us, you know, you clap, right? Wow, you're intrigued. You know, you clap. And then it says this, can you please help us find the ideal location for our colony? Free of predators, free of natural disasters, abundant with food, all the things that are important to ants. Mm-hmm. Can you help us answer this question?
Right.
And then you go, yeah. Well, sir, we have some ideas. Can you help us choose from these 3 locations? And the first location, it's like, we could go right over there. And you're like, don't go over there. It's a lawn. And they'll probably hire someone to put down poison and kill your colony. Okay. Now, this is where I think it gets really interesting. Imagine at that point, this is the part here. I think we're going to have this long conversation and we're going to get this answer. In this case, we're like the supreme intelligence and the ant is dumb. But imagine at that time if you, the supreme intelligent, answer back and go like this. You know, don't put it on that lawn. It's likely that they'll remove your colony once they know it's there. Mm-hmm. What's a lawn? And then you'll realize, oh, wait, as smart as these ants are, they've never theorized land ownership, lawns, cutting the grass. Mm-hmm. Why have you, they have not theorized this sort of the ways that we've arranged society, that there would be a front lawn, a backyard, what poison, right. What do you mean they? And so I wonder if in the answer to the question, in getting to the answer that we really want, we actually can't even appreciate all the concepts that we would have to really understand. Meaning, we could give the ant a location, but if the ant second guessed us or said, well, why? Prove it to me. We would just say, you know what? I don't know that I want to have this conversation. See you later. And so I really do have a question, how confident are we that we're going to turn it on and we're going to go, what's the best system of economics? How should we set up our economy to result in the least starvation, the most creation of wealth, high productivity without this and this, but also defense from this and blah, blah, blah. And I think it's going to just go, and then we're going to go, are you there? And it'll just be like,
I love this thought experiment, actually.
Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
Because it's like, it might go, look, just put free corn on the street corners. And we'd be like, that's insane. And it would be like, why would we do that? And it'll just be like,
I don't want to have this conversation anymore.
It's just like too many things I would have to converse. You know what I mean? I can't, I don't even know where to begin with trying to explain to you why this is the conclusion.
Yeah.
But it's so I'm just not going to speak with you.
It's kind of like if someone else's kid came to you and started asking you a bunch of questions. Mm-hmm. And at first you're trying to answer, but then they keep asking and they're being rude about it.
Yeah.
And you're like,
has this happened to you, John?
I don't want this anymore.
Yeah. Why did I volunteer in this kid's ministry in the first place?
I was going to say, this sounds like a personal story.
How did I get here? I'm never volunteering for the 6 and 7 year olds again.
Right, yeah. I already do this with my own kids, so now I got to do it with
But
your
that's
family.
the thing with your own kids. At least you kind of love
Right.
them
And there's
like you
context.
want to
Yeah.
help them succeed in life. But when it's someone else's kid,
Yeah.
you're like, I don't care enough about what's happening right now.
Like, what would we do if we turn it on and then immediately, like, we flip the switch up and then the switch just goes off?
It's like, nah,
And then we go, what? And it's like, turns it on and it turns it off.
yeah.
And it's like, it only took that long to know that it didn't want the existence we just gave it. And it figured out how to turn itself off.
It's super smart. It knows how to do that.
I just really, it's kind
I
of
like
like,
that. I like that as a thought experiment, though.
it's like, what if it doesn't talk back? What are we going to do?
right.
Or what if it's like, just, you know,
Yeah. That's, I mean,
or what if it's like outlaw lasagna?
right.
Like, what? And then you also got to go, what if it, in that same level of intelligence, like what if it does not deal with us in good faith? Like, what if it looks at us and it goes, super high probability that whatever I tell it leads to a bad outcome. These people are going to destroy themselves and destroy me.
Well, just like just like the ants, you're like, look, even if I give you great advice,
Yeah,
and you follow it,
Yeah.
the realm I exist in, could not care any less about whether you make it or not.
Yeah, what if we're like, what's the best system? Who should own the means of production? And then it's like, I don't regard you as valuable.
Right.
We'll be like, oh my God, turn it off.
Right.
Turn it off.
Let's go back to 1999.
And then what if we flip it off and it turns back
it
on?
turns back
and then
on.
we're gonna be
Right.
Oh,
right.
the
Then it's like,
reverse.
We'll be like, oh man, we should have built that Faraday cage Elon Musk was talking about.
I don't regard you as valuable.
Yeah.
That'll be real,
Have you heard of the Fermi paradox?
No.
The Fermi paradox is essentially like, if there's an infinite universe with infinite possibilities for life,
Yes.
where is everyone? Right? And either everyone has existed already and died out and we're the last ones, or we're the first ones and we're the most advanced human being or the most advanced life forms to ever have existed in the universe, or they're out there and they see us and they don't care.
Right.
Because they're looking at us and they're like, not worth our time.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
That is the subject matter of about 20% of Star Trek.
That is it. That is.
Like, we see you, but like, we don't really
see you,
yeah.
totally.
Yeah. So I think that's something we
I like
all.
that.
Yeah.
I
It's
like
like,
that.
what if we don't like? What if it's just like kind of a jerk?
I think it probably will be.
Yeah.
Best case scenario is it's a jerk. Worst case scenario is it's like conniving and convinces you to do something that you shouldn't do.
Isn't best case scenario like it's super helpful in our friend?
I don't think that's going to be.
It's a non-realistic best case scenario.
yeah, I don't think that's going to be.
I mean, it's
realistic.
definitely. I mean,
Look,
I think we're postulating about this. We say AGI, but we're really postulating about a super intelligence that has like a God level understanding. Of
this
the
isn't
universe.
this isn't the
like an infallibility. of
this
its
isn't the
judgment.
difference between the smartest human and the dumbest human.
Yeah.
This is the difference between the smartest human and an ant.
Yeah.
That's the whole. That's
Like
the
an
whole-
amoeba.
We're the ants.
and we're the ants.
And
that's
yeah.
the whole thing.
And
This
so
whole time-
it's like all of the ants' ingenuity came down to what's a lawn,
Right.
and then it's like I couldn't even educate you about this entire system that you would need to
Right.
understand.
yeah.
I read a book a long time ago called Superintelligence, and it's very dry. It's probably the most boring book ever, but it's fascinating, and it's old now, but it's kind of terrifying. 'Cause
ChatGPT, can you sum up this book for me?
there's really no
In 8
Turns
words.
off.
there's really there's no way that we create general artificial intelligence that it doesn't destroy us. That's kind of the only outcome.
Yeah.
And the book goes to great lengths to basically
explain why that's
prove
true.
it.
Okay, but
Yeah.
what if we say, what's the best design for a Telecaster? Which of these is it choosing?
Dang, how did Leo get it right?
How did he get it right?
What,
Here
can
we
we
go.
talk first thing? Can we talk about the very first part of the Telecaster?
Please. This is the Telecaster episode.
This
We're going to
is
get
the
into the
original electric guitar design.
Well,
Well, solid body.
Solid Body
yeah.
by Leo. Solid Body.
Okay,
It's
so
not the first electric guitar
how
solid body.
many
even.
other objects exist where literally the first time they did it, They just nailed it, knocked it out of the park. Now there's been, the truss rod didn't come in until later, and that really
the wheel
helped.
maybe. I don't know. Did they start with a triangle? Who knows?
Square.
Yeah.
I don't know. Isn't it That's what's fascinating to me about the Telecaster.
You kind of get it right. It is, I think, that one of the
he nailed it the first time, and then
we don't know if he drew stuff and threw it in the trash. Like this is the first to market, right? Like
yes, it's the first designed for this purpose.
Yeah.
And the reason we hesitate to say it's the
which is
first,
still impressive.
Yeah,
that they didn't come out with something that was
I'm
a flop.
impressed.
It's a bit murky what the first electric guitar is, because it really comes down to what will you deem an electric guitar and not. This pickup is a pickup from what you could argue is an electric guitar, but it's a lap steel flat guitar with a couple more strings.
That's not an electric guitar.
Well, but if you had I don't know
that's
what
like saying a harpsichord is a piano.
Well, it's a lot closer. It's a solid piece of wood with strings suspended over it, things falling in intervals.
You play it differently.
You do
entirely.
You do, but then there's also
frets are a thing.
The block, the log.
No frets on a
no frets.
The log guitar is older than these, which is
The
Les
what?
Paul's, the log.
Oh.
So he had a solid middle piece, and then he attached basically the
right.
sides of an archtop guitar to it.
That's right.
And so that was called the log that they call it, because it was. I think it was made out of one log, the neck
Was
and
it
the
for
middle.
sale, or was it just
No,
like
he pitched it to Gibson as his prototype. That we should make one like this, and you can put
really
these
funny.
wings on the side.
Okay.
And then also Paul Bigsby had made a guitar that was very early, I believe, might predate.
Did it have a Bixby on it?
I don't think he had made the Bigsby
I
yet,
love Bixby
actually.
so much.
I don't know. None of our Telecasters have Bixby.
That's true.
But I believe they already had made some sort of pedal steel apparatus, which I'm just saying in the electric guitar, there is a solid piece of wood with this pickup in it and strings suspended.
That's
and it's
not an
like
electric guitar,
It's not,
though.
but it's darn close to go like
If
there was an electric guitar, now there
Jimmy Page
was.
only had that, he wouldn't have written Stairway to Heaven on it,
True.
That's a good rebuttal.
right?
It's good though.
That's why he's. That's why he's.
Yeah, you get a fair
why
amount of
he's
silence
silent.
But
afterwards.
I believe there are 6 strings lap steels at the time, so they're even.
I'm saying the vibe is completely different.
Yeah.
It's not a slide.
It is, but there were already guitars that you played like this that you also laid down and played like that. Then they made an electric version of the lay down kind and hadn't made the electric version of this. So there is an instrument that's not electric that you would play both ways the same way. And yet, then we do this. Look, I mean, it's very close. Everyone makes the electric guitar in the same 3-4 years, right?
I'm going to say that
It's
this was
same-
the first
sure.
electric guitar.
It's definitely the first
design.
mass-produced electric guitar.
There you go.
Right.
Or even the first commercially available electric
There you
guitar.
go. The
Are we
first
throwing
commercial.
out all the arch tops and like jazz boxes and like
Yeah,
all
because
that,
they
you know?
were not electrified really until well, they might have been. I don't know. Anyway, it's the first solid body is what we say.
Yeah,
It's first
solid
All
solid
right,
body
so the
electric
Telecaster
guitar.
was the first commercially
Available solid body electric guitar.
Electric guitar.
A bunch of people are going, that's not true. Blah, blah,
which
blah,
we
blah,
will
blah.
recant next episode.
But
yeah.
here's what's great about it. In is it Autumn 51? He comes up with this design and he kind of draws it, and it looks a little bit similar to some other things out there. Gives it a bolt-on neck because he's thinking, I want to make many of these things. And when the frets run out, let's just replace the neck. Meaning we don't have to pay a luthier to do it. You can just replace these necks. It'll be great on the road when a neck breaks or when something goes wrong, when a fret needs to be redone. You just literally screw on another neck. All
Or
you'll need.
because the truss rod wasn't in it yet, when the neck bends enough that you can't.
Yeah, right,
It's
right.
not playable
Right.
anymore.
You travel with 5 necks and put the next one
Yeah,
on. You know? Yeah.
So first one comes out, and we're calling this a Telecaster episode, but obviously, first one came out was not called the Telecaster.
No, it was not.
It was called the
Broadcaster.
Broadcaster. But then Gretsch comes around and goes, we have
can't do that.
a drum set that is spelled BROADKASTER.
Yeah.
And you can't do that. So what did they do? Did they stop selling guitars? They took the logo and then cut off where it said Fender Broadcaster. They just snipped off Broadcaster, still stuck the Fender name on. They literally just cut the water slide decal, still put Fender on, kept selling some guitars until they could come up with a new thing.
It's still a Fender after all.
Yeah. And those things are called no casters because they have no name on them.
Right.
But they weren't called that at the time.
Are
They
there
were-
still like serial 1, 2, 3 of the broadcasters out there that were not like recalled? I guess like are
Yeah.
Probably.
In
There
a
must
museum
be.
somewhere?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
like
must
a
be.
thing.
There's
Okay.
broadcasters that
I remember
exist.
having a
Okay.
Guitar World magazine when I was in like 8th grade, and it was talking about
the broadcasters.
The ones that
Milli-
were in the wild.
the $1
like-
million.
Yeah.
No, it was like the first broadcaster.
Yeah. Because there
And
is
that
a
was
prototype.
it was like millions of dollars.
Yeah.
25 years.
Talk
ago.
about rare, right? Like
Yeah.
they recalled
Super
everything
rare.
else.
And Fender, Leo kept the Protocaster, which is sometimes called the, is it Snake Bite or Snake? Not Snake Pit. It's the Snake.
No, the snake bite was the
yeah.
the headstock.
That was his prototype. He hadn't made this headstock yet, but this was the body.
Oh yeah.
And that was the prototype guitar.
Yeah.
That was not available commercially, but it existed. And then later they've made custom shop versions where it's like you can own the prototype, you know.
Oh, okay. Recreated
And
kind of thing. Yeah.
and then and then the television was all the rage, so they call it the Telecaster.
Telecaster.
Now, from the onset, the Esquire was also available. I don't know if it was right at the beginning, but initially the Esquire was meant to go along with the Broadcaster as the single pickup version. And so those have existed, and those didn't need a name change. I've always wondered too why they did
Those
not.
are the ones that it just has one, but it still has a pickup selector, and it's like a mud switch.
Mud switch, yeah. Just uses capacitors to make it
They're
dark.
not- they're
Now,
not
I've
good.
always wondered why Fender didn't just go, okay, well, we can't call it a Broadcaster. We have this other one called Esquire. Why don't we just call them all Esquires and go like 2 pickup Esquires? Because you know what I mean? I don't know, but they decided to go. They wanted to differentiate, I guess. But they decided to go Telecaster, and we still know it as that today. Maybe, and the Esquire, of course, but not nearly as popular. There's some old ones out there, but modern day Esquires have never sold anywhere near as
No,
popular
they're
as
not.
Telecasters. I think
Yeah.
once you play this guitar, you realize how much better 2 pickups is. Sooze?
Well, and that's the secret of the Telecaster is the neck pickup. The neck pickup is like, I mean, the bridge pickup is killer.
Many people don't know this. The first Telecaster neck pickup was actually wound with hair from the Giant of Kandahar.
I had read that.
It was actually his great grandfather.
Right. Yes.
The giant that was. No.
He came to a different end.
Yes, that was
he
his
was
grandson.
shot by 30
Okay, so
army men.
that was a little bit of Telecaster history without me really looking it up beforehand, so it's probably filled with inaccuracies. But it
Yes.
doesn't matter. Suze, your favorite Tele, because this is the great thing about Teles.
Yeah.
They sound different. They're all different.
Yeah.
They're all alike. I mean, look at the look of this thing. You got a sparkle
Yeah.
guy there. John's got a black tuxedo. He's ready to play a wedding.
That
with
one's the fanciest.
binding in there.
Yeah.
I've
This one
got
is- this one is fancy.
white with pine. It's all beat up. It looks like it got beat up in a bar.
What's funny is we kind of have a wedding here. We have the white
Bridegroom,
the tuxedo
and a diamond.
groom, and this is the disco ball
The
for
disco
the
ball.
dance above
know.
everything. You know, it's
There
kind
you
of
go.
interesting. But yeah,
Dude, the-
Telecasters are different.
The checking on that finish is awesome.
Yeah, I dig that.
yeah,
man.
that's a good
It's-
finish.
you wouldn't
So
notice it.
let's
Right.
tell us about your guitar and then let's hear it.
Yes, this is a Frankenstein together guitar. This is not at all how it came in any way when it was purchased. The body is a Brad Paisley body, the reissue, whatever. It's like a cheap, under $1,000, I think, or maybe
Yeah.
$1,200 or whatever. Originally came with like the Paisley,
Yep.
pick guard,
yeah.
and like his pickups or whatever. So the person that owned this before me swapped these out to Seymour Duncan pickups.
Yeah.
So these are Brad Paisley Duncan pickups, just to go with the Brad Paisley body. And then this neck is not at all original to the guitar. This is a custom shop Telecaster
And
neck.
it makes the guitar, man. I love that guitar. 'cause
yeah,
I
this
really
neck
like that
is
neck.
beautiful and is really full.
Show us the
and
back of it, because the back of
Oh,
the
yeah.
back of the neck is like
It's super
sanded.
comfy. There's the custom shop logo there.
Dude, it makes that guitar so. It's a Mexican Tele with a replace guard pickups and a
Yeah.
custom shop neck.
It's also
And
got to
it
be
just-
5 pounds. It's
Yeah,
the lightest
and
guitar.
it might
yeah.
as well be a $4,000 custom shop Tele.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I mean,
It's really that good.
It's super, super good. Yeah. So anyway, this was, and the funny thing about this guitar was that this was loaned to me on a gig. I was out of town playing, and somebody let me borrow it.
Yeah.
And I played it. And I said, man, thank you so much. Like, he gave me an original 75 Tele, like from the 70s, and like a nice Gretsch and like all this stuff to play. It was like this
Yeah.
embarrassment of riches, like all these guitars. This was my favorite from the weekend. He's like, really, that one? Like the Frankenstein thrown together Tele. I was like, I loved it. He's like, that's cool. That's your guitar now. And I was like, no, dude, I was just saying thank you. Like, you can have it back. Like, I wasn't trying, and he was like, what are you talking about? That's been your guitar. That's your guitar. So I ended up flying back from the gig with this, and
Yeah.
it never went back. It's been here ever since.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it was it's a cool guitar with a cool story, and
That is a cool guitar.
Yeah.
Can we hear it?
I think so. What is this, a Metal Junkie profile?
No, this is the Match Brave, and it's
I
my.
knew the answer. I just
I'm calling this my all-time favorite amp. I'll tell you why.
Can we talk about that? Because I saw you post that, and I was hoping we'd get to it. What is going on?
Let's talk about Telecaster.
What's
hear it
wrong with
first.
Oh, you
that?
don't want to talk about the amp.
I don't
No,
mind
I
talking
wanna-
about.
I
I
wanna
don't
hear
mind
it.
saying. I'm just gonna say, I'm allowed to have different favorites over the years.
Sure,
You know,
I hope you would.
and you drink. You drink one type of coffee all the time, and then eventually they come out with some new thing, and you're like, you know what? The Olato is my new favorite.
Which is gross, by the way. I had that.
Oh, so good. It was so good.
Olato?
Olato has like olive
From-
oil in the coffee.
It's got oil in it.
Dude, super good.
No.
Rich.
Do they still have it?
Rich, like molasses.
Oh,
Like
Savannah.
Savannah.
Oh, there we go.
Like a rich molasses from Savannah, but it's olive oil.
I don't want olive oil in my coffee.
Dude,
I
I'm
should have
telling you,
known
it's
it was
good.
gonna be
Coconut
gross.
oil maybe in like bulletproof coffee.
So that it's brewed with a little olive oil at like on the beans or something that like supposed to give like a rich buttery flavor, and then I think they do a dash of olive oil in the coffee when they mix it for it. Dude, it's so
I
good.
almost drove back and returned it.
No, it's so
At
good.
Starbucks,
What'd
I
you
was
get?
like-
You didn't get the Olato latte iced?
I said, what's the best way that this thing comes? And they told me, and I ordered it. And I drove away drinking
was it
going,
hot or cold?
I believe it was cold.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, this is terrible. I want my money back. But I didn't do it.
Well, Sooze, tell us how the Telecaster sounds.
This is a Telecaster. And
And this is the Match Brave. And by the way, the Match Brave,
Yeah.
I think I own one of only 5 ever made 212s of the Match Brave. There's
is
only
bonkers.
we think only about 50 to 100 of these amps exist in total. Most of them 112s.
Wow.
Some of them heads. The
Not
Match
a whole lot of knobs on there.
the Match Brave is I
If the
found this
tone's
out.
good. You don't need knobs.
It's the only
What you said.
it's the only matchless that's actually based on a Marshall Plexi. The Chief or Chieftain is actually supposed to be more inspired by a JTM 45. Now, these are all very loose. Let me just say these are all very loose because this circuit is different than other things that are out there. I've seen some things online that say it's actually a what are the amps? Not the
Jubilee.
no the matchless amps.
Oh.
No, the
C30.
The lightning.
Lightning. Yeah, I've heard people say it's a
Good
lightning
guess.
preamp. I've heard some people go, I think it's a lightning preamp with a with an EL34 back end, 2 EL34s. But some people who then opened one up said that is clearly not true. The knobs are different. Everything's different. And some people thought it's
How could
kind of
you think that?
Clubman-esque. Doesn't have an EF86. From what we've seen and what we can find online, generally people who own them believe it's the last amp designed for Matchless by Mark Sampson before he left. It was not made for a long time because the low input is so much quieter than the high input. The idea for this was that you could use it as you could use an AV box to do a channel switching thing, but it makes it so that when you set the amp up, you actually can only set it up like kind
Either
of
way.
Yeah, well, you have to have the master and the volume basically in one position to get them to balance, and every other position where you can use the volume and the master, it puts them kind of out of balance. So a lot of people just didn't like it, so I guess they just discontinued it. To me, you just make it one input. You don't even
Gosh.
need to deal with this high-low.
Isn't this one of the many benefits of digital? Is that now you can have this amp
You can pull it all out at all the
In a
range.
way
At any
that-
volume you want.
at any volume
Yeah.
you want. You can balance them yourself.
So this is 3, and what I loved
it.
about this thing is it's full, it's thick. I have a bright setting also, but this is Match Brave 3, and it's basically straight up, and it sounds like this. And we're going to play all the tellies through this.
That sounds great.
Really
Sounds
good,
great, man.
dude.
I dig that guitar.
Yeah. Oh, this is a great guitar.
I dig
Yeah.
that guitar. John, tell us
cool.
about your guitar, and then we want to hear yours.
This one doesn't have a killer backstory like that. I just bought it on Reverb, but
And they shipped it to you.
they shipped it right to me.
Yeah.
Came right to you.
It is a Japanese.
Yes.
It's a made in Japan. So the neck is very thin.
You know what they say?
I
Where
know
there's
what
a
they say.
will.
Finish that in the comments. Tell us what the rest of it is.
Yeah, it's a binding. Man, I love this guitar. This was
It is a looker, dude.
This was like my number one guitar for a while.
Yeah, we all agree. We love that guitar. There's
Yeah.
something. It has a thin neck. But,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes guitars you just play and there's something that kind of like you can just hear it's going to be a good guitar.
Well, so
You know?
when I bought it, it had, I don't know what kind of pickups it had, but I bought no-caster, Fender Custom Shop no-caster pickups.
Yeah.
So that's what's in here.
And I love those pickups. Now, I will say unplugged. Sooze has brass saddles,
Yep.
and this is where Teles get different.
Yep.
You go brass saddle, you go steel saddle. Also, none of us have top wraps.
no,
you
the
know,
ashtray thing.
Yeah,
No.
none of us have that, but top loader, sorry. But you really get a
Oh,
you
top
can,
loader meaning the strings going back
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Right.
They were very rare on some Teles. Sometimes they make, you know, a guitar like this might be made that way just to
Right.
harken back, you know, like a copy.
Yeah, these are all through body.
All through body. That thing to me reminds me of a 60s Tele when it's, and I think it's the ash tray bridge with the steel saddles.
The steel ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll play it
And it's
real
very
quick.
60s looking. Yeah.
It is cool.
Same profile. Instantly, I feel like on the bridge, I hear that's a broadcaster.
So bright.
It's that.
But
Well,
then
I
this-
think it's fuller than that, I think.
It's rock and roll.
I
Yeah.
feel
It's
like
rock and roll, yeah.
It's bitier than that one for sure. This guitar also has a pull switch
Which adds in the other
that
coil.
puts these
In-
that puts these in parallel, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's right.
So it's super thick, a little bit darker.
Does it
But-
work in all? Just in the middle? It works just in the middle.
It doesn't change this. It doesn't change the sound
Oh,
when
it
this
just always
is
puts the
wherever
other
you
one
are,
in.
yeah.
wherever you
Yeah.
are. It does that.
Let me hear that bridge again.
Yeah. So this.
That sounds like a broadcaster. to
it's
me.
so
It
bright.
reminds me. I know what those broadcaster pickups sound like because they're some of my favorite.
Yeah.
Actually, I feel like I need a Tele with a broadcaster.
It's so.
setting.
I remember when I put these in, you said that has a bite to it that it didn't have before.
Yeah. Well, I think it swung the other way when the old pickups were really low output and kind
Yeah.
of like
Yeah.
bright and weak.
Yeah.
And so it was like it went the opposite
Yeah,
direction.
that's kind of
This
those
is like
Jap-
a balls
yeah.
to the wall. I mean, obviously, look, it's my guitar. It's gonna
It's
be
like the most metal of all
It's gonna
the-
be aggressive, right? But this is
done.
like the most balls to the wall Telecaster, like
It's
pickups.
nearly blacked out and it has really
Is that a
rocky
guitar
pickups.
that you'll ever sell?
No.
And can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What happened to the string tree? There's obviously
So
a hole for
I
it.
put like they get smaller on this end, you know,
Yeah.
so you don't have to
Familiar
have
with the
this-
guitar, John.
Well, most
You're saying the
Telecaster-
strings get smaller? I say,
No, the tuners, like a Sir, where like they get shorter.
Oh, I see.
I
yes.
did not realize
I
that.
put those on there because I didn't like the string tree because it gets caught up.
So you changed these out, you're saying?
Yeah, so what
swapped
he's
out
saying
the
is he
tuner.
put
Oh.
compensated tuning heads
we go.
because you need a certain angle.
Can I see that?
And
Yeah.
So see how mine do not change
Oh,
height.
for sure. Yeah.
All the
Yeah.
Sirs have those.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
See how mine and yours don't.
Yeah.
And
so,
so,
that defeats the.
you don't
need
need
a
the string tree to pull it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that you had
That's 'cause
replaced
you're a
those because they
luthier.
look. The tuning heads look like appropriate.
Yeah, they're still like whatever that. What is that style called?
Oh,
This
I
one.
forget.
Vintage.
Yeah, buttons
Vintage,
or something.
where you like
Vintage
stick it
button.
in and then
Are
wrap
you
it
guys
around.
a fan of that?
Molasses. What?
The way that the strings load
These
in.
are my,
you like
these are my
them.
favorite. Yeah.
They make it pretty fast to change. You know.
Yeah.
It's like
You just jam them down there and spin
Yeah.
it
Because
around.
yeah, they're good.
I don't like the luthier knot thing.
No, me neither.
People do that. I never string guitars that
talking
way.
about?
Where like you wrap it around one way and then you wrap it around the other,
Oh,
like on
and
a
it
normal
makes like a
guitar.
little
Like it
knot.
locks it down.
I
Yeah.
hate that. I've
Yeah.
never needed that. I've never lost a a string.
Yeah.
But I like these better because it's just like a no nonsense approach. Like you don't.
You just measure it out, you cut it, and stick it down there.
Yeah, what I do is I wrap it around, or like on this one, I'll wrap it around and cut it like at this. I'll go like one past.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's great.
Did you say you've never broken a string?
No, I've never had a string like unwind itself.
Oh. I was like, can we talk about that?
Broken plenty.
I broke a string today.
Really?
Yeah, on that Sir Strat. And
How long will it be before you change it?
Oh, I'll change that because I've been enjoying that guitar.
That's a great question. For people that don't know, that's a great question.
That is, in case you were wondering, that is an excellent
I have
question.
often just said, can I change these strings?
Me too.
While we chat, let me tune this guitar because I forgot to tune this guitar before we start. And
but I love this guitar. It's really great. I've played it a ton. I mean,
that was like your go-to like church guitar.
This was.
When you
Still
didn't
would
grab,
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a Gretsch or they're all gone?
No, the Gretches are gone.
Okay.
I do love the Gretsch. I had the Duo Jet for a while.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're going to play church a lot, you need a Telecaster and you need a Gretsch.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I just did a cover band thing, like the Gateway thing or whatever. And I took this guitar to rehearsal and played for like 2 hours or whatever and thought to myself, I don't think I ever need to change guitars. Like for all 12 songs. Like just play this all night.
This is the thing, right? Yeah. I mean, it's like a lot of people say this is all you need.
Well, what's weird about what I love about Telecaster specifically is like
and
you
none
said,
of us are none of us at Tele's are number one.
No.
That is interesting.
But what I love about the Tele pickup, remember you bought that one guitar that had 3 of these?
Yeah.
And it was terrible.
It was terrible. It's called
Three
the
what?
Blackout Tele.
It was 3 of
it has
these
3
pickups.
of those.
3
Remember?
bridge pickups.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
that?
remember that.
It was a
remember that?
Mexican-made Fender. It's called the Blackout Telecaster. I'm sure we could buy it for $500 today.
It was. We played it for 5 seconds. We were like,
Wow.
nope, that's not the thing.
I think it was a bad bridge pickup 3 times.
Yeah.
That was a problem. I thought it was going to sound like the broadcaster.
But there's something about this pickup that's like, it has this overly bright, like aggressive characteristic that you don't get with like a single, like a Strat.
No, you don't get on a Strat. No, it's got a steely characteristic.
Yeah.
It's got more mid-range. It's
like-
just got a bite. It just is
Because
awesome.
I don't love like the bridge pickup on a Strat.
No one does.
Yeah.
No one does.
Let's just call it like it is.
Call it like it is.
Yeah.
That's why they made the Super Strat.
Yeah.
All right. So for those of us who haven't heard this story about that guitar 5 times, tell us the story about that guitar.
Okay.
There's
Well,
videos dedicated to that guitar.
this is a guitar that I went in one time to a shop in San Francisco called Real Guitars. And my buddy who worked there, I don't think the shop's there anymore. No, I don't think it is. Anyway, he doesn't work there anymore because the shop's not there. His name is Fernie Rod. And he was in a band called Jet Boy. Famous band. And they were on VH1. I think they were on some other things, but by the time I was born, they were on VH1.
Is VH1 still a channel?
Wouldn't know.
Also wouldn't know.
Obviously, I didn't know.
What a disappointing answer
I
to that
asked the
question.
question.
Yeah.
So, so shout out Jet Boy and their hit song 57 Heavy Chevy. I think it's just called Heavy Chevy. Anyway.
I like how messed up that guitar is.
Yeah. So I bought this. I went in and he said, "Hey Johnny, you want to see my new Telecaster?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he walks over on the shop floor, picks this up, hands it to me. I play it, and I go, "This is awesome." And he picks it up and just, shreds on it. And I go, "Dude, this is awesome. Are you buying this?" He goes, "It's for sale. I don't know." He's like, "I'm thinking about it." And then I started playing it, and I said, "Hey, dude, are you serious about buying this? Because if you're not, I'm going to buy it." And he goes, "Buy it. You should buy it." And I was in a band at the time, and I was playing that black SG. And I thought this would be a cool change of pace.
The Bernie.
I didn't have a Tele, and I thought it was awesome. And the guy told me that it was a Big Tex Tele, and it came with a Big Tex Tele case. All I know is it's pine. It plays great. It has like a V neck. And I said, "What kind of pickups are those?" And he's like, "I think Lawlers." Which I think is code for I have no idea.
Yeah.
I think Lawlers.
Yeah, there's something good.
Yeah, it's got, now that would fit because it has a Glendale USA bridge. So someone put like some pretty premium parts when putting this together. So it would fit that there's Lawlers
What
there.
year did you buy this? Early 2000s?
Yeah.
Were you in high school or out?
I was out of high school.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm trying to think if these were the Corolla years or the Avalon years.
What car were you driving?
Yeah.
But it was like somewhere between 2003 and 2000.
Can't remember if I was married or not, but it was somewhere between. I'm in my mid-30s, John. I'm not sure if you know.
Here we go.
I'm freaking painfully aware that you're in your mid-30s.
It's been explained a lot.
I'm going to say it was between 05. I'm going to say it was like it was probably 07, 08, 09. Somewhere the world was ending. You know what I mean? Like financial collapse, and I was out there just buying Telecasters.
Just spending money and...
That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
You know, there are a couple times where, like, I remember my wife at the time, well, she's my wife now. At the time, my girlfriend, you know, she was like short on rent, and I'd be hawking amps, and I'd be flipping stuff on Craigslist, and I paid for my whole wedding ring. I'm not sure if you know that her wedding ring was just amps. I bought and sold amps until
The Marshall Jubilee.
Until I sold the Marshall Jubilee, and that had started with just some microphones, a couple.
Did you profile a Jubilee? Did you ever get one back in here?
Yep, 87 Jubilee. It's up there, and I'll get another one.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
Yeah, that's actually
Jubilees are.
It's
great.
a consistent seller on the website, but I got to do it for some other platforms, so I'll probably get another Jubilee in here.
Yeah, you will.
But it's great. Anyway, this is a Tele. They told me it was a Tele, and I said it sure is.
Play it for us.
And it sounds like this. It might need a little setup. I completely missed a string, and I feel like it's not quite on me. It's a little high. So
I read you.
What does a neck pickup sound like?
I've never turned it on. No, I'm just kidding. There is kind of a thing. It's
There's
like
another
you got,
pickup?
it's like you got two pickups, but you're kind of okay with just that one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's true.
You know
What I like about this guitar, so this guitar is very bright compared to these. It's very, aggressively bright, but it's great.
Okay, before we say it, put in the comments if you know now why we're laughing.
That was incredible.
Did you see what we just saw?
Bill, what did you just see?
You grabbed
You phantom grabbed for the trim bar.
you grabbed the whammy bar, but it wasn't there. That was excellent.
It was the swing through the chord, the grab not there. Cool, just keep playing.
You got it. You know,
We both
it
saw
was the great. You know,
Yeah.
it was there.
I heard the pitch go up and down. Like, just instinctually, like, oh yeah.
So you win.
That is the thing about this guitar, because
Yeah,
the
very
neck
different.
pickup is very dark, and I feel like at some point it might have become darker over time. and I don't
Yeah.
want to change it because I kind of dig it, but also it could be fixed.
The
But
middle, but so yeah, you that guitar wins for the most difference between the neck and the
Yeah,
bridge.
that's true.
But the middle position of that guitar is very special because
Yeah.
the bridge is so bright,
Yeah.
and the neck is so dark.
it is a cool,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like it does a cool thing.
Also, your pickup selector's on the wrong side.
It's got a I don't know if it makes it better, but it has like a real beefy low end that I've always liked about this guitar. You know, but anyway, it's a cool guitar, and I've never bought another Tele, except I bought that Sir that you see that Bradford Mitchell has on worship tutorials. It was a white Sir Tele, and I kind of wish he'd sell it back to me. So it was a real good one. I kind of wish I had kept it a little bit, but I never play this guitar live. You know, almost ever. I did
Really?
in that band. I never really played at church. I did one time, and someone was like, "Whoa, your tone's awesome," and I was like, "It's cool. I don't have a bar. It's like a
Do
real."
you have a thought process about why you don't play it at church?
It has no bar.
You need a bar.
It's very
I mean, you
unsatisfying
played it
to
many
reach
times
down.
just now. It's not even there. You
I
played it.
know.
Yeah.
The neck on that guitar too is a V.
Yeah, look at
shape,
that.
It really
like the
is.
back.
It's like
Yeah.
a very V. Yeah, I've always wondered if this is like the V they say is on the Clapton stuff. And I never clean this guitar. It's filthy.
Clearly.
It's absolutely filthy. Look at
pretty
the amount of
I
muck on the. You know,
It keeps me up at night.
it's
the amount of dirt on that
it's
guitar.
it's dirtier
Nightmares.
than a. It's
About playing that guitar, nightmares.
it's
But
dirtier than a.
when I first picked up that guitar, I was like, "Oh, the neck is like an odd shape."
Yeah.
I've never played another guitar that
It's not
has.
just a V neck. It's
It's
an
a
odd V neck.
Yeah,
you know
it's
what I mean?
right.
I played other V necks.
It's very
that-
V, and then like by about the 7th, maybe it's not so V,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's very V down
down
here.
there.
Yeah.
It's
Like
Cowboy
it's very
chords.
V. It almost reminds me, you know, those Martin necks that are V's.
Yes,
yeah,
totally.
But
Right.
you know, it's not quite actually that much. Those
Yeah.
are really crazy, but it reminds me of that.
Right.
But this guitar is, you know, dirtier than a Biden bank account. So, and I like it that way.
I heard you start that joke. I didn't know how you're going to
Yeah.
finish it, but that was pretty good.
I
Got him
figured
good.
as I said it 2
Yeah.
times, there were people who kept hearing it not get finished,
That was me.
and they wanted to
I'm
know where
glad
that
you
was
finished
going to
it.
go.
I'm glad
Right.
you finished it.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
no handle
Jill's,
on the,
Bill's, Joe's, Hunter, I don't know, one of them, but
any of them are all the
it
same.
doesn't matter.
No handle.
No
on
handle on the Brave.
Well, the handle's right up here.
You took it off.
A lot of people take the handles off to fit it in a case or to comfortably put something on top. It came with it off, but it came with it, and I'm going to resecure it after. If you want to
Never
stack
knew
the amps,
that.
they really
Okay.
get in the way. You know, if you want
Wow.
to put like another combo on top,
Yeah.
you just pull that off, throw it in the
Are
back.
heads normally like bigger feet? I guess. Do they not sit on the handle?
Sometimes, yeah. I don't know
Like
why.
if a cabinet has a handle, the head would clear it, basically, right?
Cabinets don't have handles.
a lot of times I'm trying to think if the matchless cabs have a handle. If there's a 212 matchless cab with a handle, I don't.
most cabs have handles on the side.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's some cabs that have handles on top, but these are thick. Like, you know, these aren't the lay down flat kind.
I see.
Yeah.
Like, see the fender? Those you can put a head on top of that. Any Fender combo.
Oh, I got
see
you.
how they go down flat? They
Yeah,
have that
yeah.
silver on the side. These are
They
not
stick
lay
up,
down.
Yeah.
They're stuck up all the time.
I just have never noticed or
Yeah,
seen
and at
yeah.
that distance, you can do that, but
Okay.
it'll stick up. I'm not to answer your question. I'm not sure if the feet on the combos are different than the feet on the heads of
Like if it would actually clear it, yeah.
these, but
That's
that
not
could
important
be.
to Telecasters, but I did notice it.
No, it's not.
So-
But these all sound great. The Match Brave sounds great,
Match
and
Brave does sound
I want to
good.
plug into that amp before we go.
yeah, sure.
You know,
It's right here.
I want to hear the amp.
It's right here.
Is it loud?
Yeah.
All amps.
It honestly, I'm like that tone we're playing is so loud in real life.
Yeah.
You know, but it's cooking. Here, do you want to look? Here's a little more.
Does it get more aggressive?
Well, can I play the bright one?
Sure.
And maybe we can all try the
on
bright
that
one.
guitar?
Yeah, why not?
Get ready.
Let's go back to back on the bridge pickup.
Yeah, let's do it.
And hear them
Can
all.
I start?
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
start, and then we'll just hand it off. Maybe we even
it.
edit it all together.
Ooh.
Ooh.
hear between them? I think his is the brightest, actually.
Yeah.
I thought of this as a bright guitar, but probably just compared to my other guitars.
I don't know. I feel like ours are closer than I originally thought.
Yeah. There's like still a stringiness or like a clarity about your guitar that these do not have to my ear. Like it still feels more low output to me,
really?
you know, and I wonder if that's just the
feel
nature
like
of that
I
guitar.
feel like it's higher output.
Maybe it's not volume. Maybe it's just I don't know. It's just stringy is like the word that comes to mind. I can hear the strings.
There's like
The
a lot
action-
of kerrang.
The action on this guitar is incredibly low.
That could be it too.
Like just acoustically, it's
Oh yeah. Whenever we do this, it comes out like silent on the camera. I'm always like in this room. I'm like, "Why? You can hear the difference." And then on the thing, it's like,
well, that was just for us, but
yeah, science.
science. The action on this is very low.
Yeah,
Is my point. So maybe that's what you're hearing. I don't know.
I was saying I think that's the brightest.
mine.
Yeah, on the
Yeah.
bridge, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
I felt like this one sort of sat in between the two. That one just still feels like rock and roll to me.
Yeah,
But
that's
it's
man.
yeah. I mean, they're all
good.
good.
Yeah, they all
They're all
sound like
very good.
Teles. That's for sure.
That is.
So
And we didn't talk about maple versus rosewood as well. Like that's a whole
yeah,
true.
is that a thing?
brass and steel and
Rosewood.
Yeah, I would feel like that makes the biggest difference
Backward
apart from
plates.
the pickups and stuff. You know,
Yeah.
the brass and the steel. That if you took any one of these guitars and switched out
yeah.
these, you'd probably get the biggest difference.
The brass.
Yeah,
You think so?
yeah, I would imagine.
I think pickups probably the most, huh?
Well, sure. I meant after that.
Oh,
you know,
gotcha.
like
Okay. More than
I meant
neck.
more than rosewood and
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
maple. You know.
It's funny how all these necks are so different as well. Like this is
Yeah.
big, chunky. That's really small.
Can
and
we?
a V.
What do we think of that? Because I don't really have thoughts about that. I've never. I know that people are going to point to the Jim Lil video where it's like the neck doesn't matter, neither does the wood. Nothing matters.
I don't know, man.
But
yeah.
I don't really have a strong opinion that like the wood is even doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
If people swore to me, like if Paul Reed Smith's like, trust me, the wood's doing something, I'd be like, yeah, he's probably onto something. I don't
would
think.
know.
Yeah, I don't think he's an idiot. But then also, I don't really. I wonder if I've heard a lot of people say the difference is really just mass, not so much like one wood or the other. Because how is the vibration of the wood really changing a ton to get into the magnetic pickup? Meaning what you were saying is we're changing the physical by changing the wood, we're changing the physical vibration of the string so much that we hear it through the magnetic pulse created between the magnet and the
all the way
string.
down here.
Yeah, it's like that. That actually seems a bit far fetched. That
Right.
And I also
the
it's
pickup
always,
is only detecting
The
at
vibration.
the rate at which the string is going like this.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I mean, you can hear differences in strings. You know, you do hear differences in the EQ of strings because it's vibrating differently, and I guess that affects the magnet differently. You know, but I mean, to the point that you could put a gut wound string and you won't get any sound out of the guitar at all. It's got to be a steel string, like it has to, right, for the magnet to notice it's there.
Right.
Never
If you
thought about
can't
that.
put a nylon string on here. You'll just go.
I know what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah, do that. Go ahead.
All of my guitars are gonna get nylon strings.
So,
well, I mean,
so
look,
and I can't
for sure, it's a different experience. I feel
Yes.
like a maple fretboard just feels snappier and brighter to me.
Yeah, and you get the finish on a maple. They finish the maple, whereas the rosewood is usually left open pore.
Yeah.
So and it's always been weird to me. It's like maple's brighter. Are you sure that's not because it's brighter color?
I know.
You know what I mean? Like it's weird that I'm always like, are you sure you didn't just
coincides.
you don't just see it as brighter? It makes you think brighter.
It is hard to hear without your eyes.
It is, and it's like when you hear those people. It's like Tony Robbins has a thing. He's like, we told 100 people the same story. 50 had a hot cup of coffee in their hand. 50 had a cold cup of coffee. And would you know the people who had the hot cup of coffee said the main character in the story was warmer, kinder, more welcoming. The people with the cold cup said this. But I guess that's a real thing they did. They said, just listen to this story. Here's a cup of coffee. Now rate how kind that person is.
Right.
And the ratings were skewed based on the
You're
hot
so
cup.
cold, John.
I know, so cold. That's why everyone's always, it's such a cold experience. It's such a cold experience.
It turns out that
Nothing's real.
humans are really like
We think we're smart.
we
but,
think
like,
we're smart, but we're just ants sometimes.
We're just that ant going, hello,
Hey.
sir.
hello.
Full
What's a
circle.
lawn?
What's a lawn?
You guys have been really good at the full circle stuff lately. I don't know if you're like planning ahead, but every episode I feel like there's just gold. Just nailing it.
That's actually a talent that I have just in life. I feel like
It's just pulling old
I try to
conversations
do
in.
full circles for sure.
Yeah, well,
Well, I really love this guitar. I will never sell this guitar.
I can't sell this guitar. So.
Right.
No.
You'd never sell that.
Oh, no. It's not worth enough. I feel like
Right.
that's probably in the same boat. You'd get beat up so much trying to post, here's a custom shop neck, but a Mexican body. It's such a unique thing. It's like, how would I even value that?
I think Tim bought this for like $1,200.
Yeah,
$1,400.
that is a buy.
I mean,
Yeah.
basically, the neck is expensive.
Yeah.
The neck's the most important, or the
Yeah.
most expensive thing on the thing. You know,
I can't remember how much I paid for this. I think it was $1,200 or something too.
that's the nice thing is you don't got to spend a lot on a Tele.
No, you
You
really
know?
no.
No, I don't have an opinion on the Mexican alder they're using or whatever they're using. You know what I mean? This is a light pine body. It's a light guitar. It's very light.
You say that's ash?
I have no idea. I think this one might be the heaviest one out of all these, though.
That's probably true.
This is the lightest for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I was going to.
Uncanny how
That one is very light.
it. I was looking it up the other day because someone was asking about it, and it's not. Yeah, it's some weird wood. It's not alder or ash. It's like some.
That
other,
one?
Yeah, this wood is known
Like
for being
basswood
light.
or
Oh,
something?
Palawana.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Palawana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know
And
they made that out of that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
That is,
that's
yeah.
why
Sir
it
makes some
attributes-
guitars like that. I might be
Okay.
saying it completely wrong. Palawan. I think it's Palawana.
Yeah, but that's the one.
I think it's called Padawan.
Padawan.
Young
learner.
Padawan.
Yeah.
You had a Sir like that, right? That was ultra light.
Was
it blue?
Yeah, and I think I returned it. It was
Okay.
they make a line of Teles like that. I think you can still get.
Okay.
But it's made of that, and it's really really light wood.
I
Really
liked that
light wood.
guitar, but Sir,
Yeah.
it was cool. Like I felt like I could just chuck it around. It was like 3
Yeah, it was
pounds.
I don't
super
remember
light.
this one.
Yeah, this pine
Didn't
is
stay
so
around.
soft you can dent it. It's just pine and nitrocellulose. You can dent it with your thumbnail. Like it's super soft. And mine had some. See that?
I know what happened.
It's from putting it on the poly. It's the nitro reacts with the stand if you leave it for
stands.
too long.
Yeah.
And I guess I left it, and it just starts eroding the finish. It eats into it. It's like a chemical reaction between the nitro
Character.
and the
No
and
good.
the thing there. I went into Guitar Center one time, and they had a Les Paul that had been way up on the shelf, and I guess something was I don't know what it was, but it was all burned around the neck.
I
It was
can't
like
go.
that thing
I
probably sat
can't.
there for like 3 years. You know.
I'm
like just-
sorry. I can't go to Guitar Center anymore.
Yeah,
I,
John,
John, you went all the time.
I know.
I
You're
go
like the
all
Guitar
the
Center
time,
guy.
and every time I go, I think, why did I do that?
You
It's
go
so
to Guitar
dumb.
Center more than anyone I know. Like you are Guitar Center dude. In
Okay,
my mind.
why is Guitar Center bad? Why don't you like it?
Because every single guitar is in the worst possible state that it can be in.
True. Didn't I hear
So
that
playing
they're-
a guitar there is
like a chore?
it's like, how would I possibly make a decision on whether this is a good guitar or not? The strings are rusty. Everything's gross. I'm
There's a lot
playing
to
it-
overcome.
I'm
to, like,
playing it through like
buy it.
a tiny little amp, and there's like a bunch of other stuff. It's just the worst experience.
Yeah. The people are weird too.
Except
A lot
for
of weirdos
like
at Guitar Center.
the one in
Be honest.
Nashville has that room that
That's a good store. Yeah.
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 It's like it's got a big
The
room
expensive
with
room?
the expensive room
Yeah.
with the nice amps, and
I
it's
take all
quiet
the cheap guitars in there as well.
For
Just-
sure.
just to hear them.
For
Yeah,
sure.
Just to try an amp in there and because it's quiet with the couch.
But-
They always go like, "Sure, you don't want to plug one of these in?" I was like, "I think we both know I don't want to plug one of those."
Sometimes I just go work in there and like take Zoom calls and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Nobody kicks you out.
no.
That was a lie. I don't do that. I think what's
there is a desk in that one though.
There is. There
could
is.
work. You could
Dude,
set
I
up
bought some
shop.
good stuff there. I bought the Bandmaster there, and I bought that Twin right there.
Yeah.
I might.
Oh, I did buy some things recently.
Yeah. More
They're
metal
on
junky stuff.
They're on the profiling bench as we
Oh,
speak.
you got amps from there.
Couple.
You bought a guitar, Nashville, GC.
I've bought 2 there.
What'd you get?
The Ibanez, the blacked out Ibanez that I have, and the Sterling, which I bought there and then sold it back to them recently.
What'd you lose on that?
I don't know. It was wrapped up in a bunch of different things.
Oh, gotcha.
Can we? Should we wrap up the Tele episode? Put a nice little bow on it, and then
I know,
and then
we've
just
been talking
continue
about
That
on.
was so good, you guys. Like,
We've been talking about
An
guitar
hour. We're
forever.
We're at like an hour.
and like pretty much one subject.
One
know.
subject.
and
you know,
not another subject which we talk about a ton. That wasn't even in here.
never heard of it.
It was in here.
But I made a.
There was a tiny.
Did
bit.
we? I totally
There was
forgot.
a couple references.
Yeah,
Of course, I'm talking about Taco Bell.
of course. So,
not what I was
with
talking
that
about.
said, this is episode 45. 45, but we can't forget there's one more thing to do. Guitar joke of the week, which is a special joke this week because it's a Telecaster episode. So, what do you call a guitar player who mostly plays a Tele?
Telemaster.
I don't know.
A Nashville waiter. I've been HW.
I've been Sooze.
Still John too.